Welcome to Tipper's Den, everyone. My name is Whitney, and welcome to another speed build. Today we are doing the build for my season sims I created. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. I will leave it linked in the description below as well as at the end of this video. But pretty much we're doing the 4 seasons, so we have winter, spring, summer, and autumn, and they're all living in this build together. And I actually had already done this build and ended up scrapping it. Well, I didn't do the whole build, not like the whole vampire build situation, but I did the shell and the outdoor part. But I had done that and then went to bed for the night. And when I came back the next day, I just did not like the way it looked. I was trying to do it all on one story, and it just wasn't working. It was just it was too big for a one story, and I needed more outdoor space so I could have a little like orchard garden area for autumn, and then the flower garden for spring, plus summer's area. And so I ended up scrapping that and started over with this. And I was thinking about it as I was going back over this and editing, and I really wish I had maybe gone with like a tiny home situation. I know Sydney Macaretta always does the every tiny home is a different blank challenge, and I thought that would have been kind of cool for this situation. I could have done every tiny home as a different season and had all 4 tiny homes on the same lot, and then maybe like a communal area in the center. But I didn't do that, and honestly, I don't know even if I had thought of that at the time, if I would have gone that route or not, just because I really like how it turned out with all the seasons kind of melded together, and just, aspects of the different seasons all in one build. Spring definitely shines through the most, I would say, in this build, but I kind of like that they're all together in one build. So I might not have gone that route anyway, even if I had thought of it at that point. But I do think that would have been a cool way to go at the same time. So I just was kind of thinking about that and thought I'd bring it up. So right now, this video is kind of long, and I do apologize. It took a long time to do. There was a lot of aspects to it. So I hope you guys will stick through till the end, because I think it turned out pretty cool. But I cut out as much as I was comfortable with. So and there was a lot of dead space because I have a new puppy on potty training, and so it's kind of like you got to stop and take him out right then moment. So there was a lot of dead space in this video. Overall, it took me, the recordings themselves were about 14 hours. The build itself didn't take that long, but it did take quite a long time. I'm not really sure how long, because I did cut down a lot. But anyway, so right now I am working on the outside, as you can see. And so the outside is kind of a combination of spring and summer, and then the little back part is autumn, I would say. Winter doesn't really have space out here, but to me, you don't spend a whole lot of time outside in winter anyway, and so I don't think that's necessarily a problem. But you can see I have a little pool and a little summer water slide, and then I have my little flower garden up front there, and then winter's little garden, or not winter, autumn's little garden goes in the back section there. So it's definitely a full build, lots of components to it. And like I said, on the inside, spring definitely comes through more. The color palette definitely fits spring. I did a lot of yellows and blues and pinks, kind of in a pastel-y color. And so spring definitely screams when you walk in the door. And so I ended up putting Spring's room on the bottom floor there, and then the other 3 are on top. And then even the kitchen, I try to go, because I figured the kitchen would have been more of Autumn's territory. And so I was trying to go for Autumn, but I also wanted it to fit in with the rest of the floor. And so it still kind of gives off a spring like color palette. And so I don't know how much Autumn comes across in the kitchen, but it's definitely her domain. And then I do have a little sunroom, and I put all of Winter's knitting stuff in the sunroom because I figure, he's confined to the upper floor for most of the day, just because of the sun. He can't, he would fry. So he has to stay up there for most of the day, and then he probably comes down at night and sits in the sunroom and does his knitting and kind of looks out the outside and such. And then here, my bathrooms, I know some of you probably won't like them, but I did mix colors. I didn't go with one color scheme. So there's the blues and the pinks again. I stayed away from the yellows just because the walls are yellow, and so I didn't really want to repeat that. But I did mix the blues and the pinks because I didn't want one over the other. And so I know some people probably won't like that, but I myself loved it. So I guess since that's my build, that's all that matters. But if you guys like it, definitely let me know. I'm not uploading anything to the gallery so far, but if it's something you guys do want me to do, let me know and I can definitely start doing that. I'd be happy to. It's just I don't know how interested people are in my builds or not. So that little laundry hamper I actually ended up having to move because out of everything it ended up blocking so the sim couldn't come in to use the bathroom, which was really annoying. So I ended up putting it out in the bedroom. Now I'm just trying to get the flooring for the kitchen, which that's probably my favorite flooring in the entire build, is the kitchen. I recently discovered, I know it's kind of a silly thing to discover, but mixing tiles, and so you can kind of create your own pattern. And so that's what I did in here. And I did it in my fire element build too. And then so I mixed the patterns with the different color squares as well. Kind of break it up, and I absolutely adore the kitchen. The only thing that frustrates me about the kitchen is, again, finding matching cabinets for your counters. That's one thing that frustrates me, and I know it frustrates a lot of other simmers. They bring it up all the time. But it's just, I know it takes a lot to do the different swatches and such, but to me, every time they created a counter, they should have done a cabinet swatch that matched, because it's just absolutely ridiculous that you can't always get matching cabinets, and it's so frustrating. So that's the only thing that really frustrates me about the kitchen, is the cabinets do not match the counters. But here I'm just working on the little entryway. Again, very bright springtime colors. I like the little patterns on the chair and just trying to fill it up. I tried to do, because it was coming across so spring-like, I did try to do little aspects of the other elements here and there. So like the little wreaths I found, I ended up putting above the archways and the windows. I found one for each season, so I did that. And then like there's a little bit of the knitted penguins and the octopus. I placed those around, a little bit of winter there. And there's also like the crystal tree you'll see I put down for winter. And then for autumn, I did like this little sports equipment, just because to me, I think when I think sports, I kind of think of autumn. Kids going back to school, football games, things like that. Not necessarily the whole range of sports. I know like people will probably think more of sports like in summer, but to me, sports is autumn. So I put those down for autumn. I didn't really put anything down for summer, but on the upper floor, the landing definitely screams summer. So she has her moment to shine there. So I definitely didn't really worry too much about trying to represent her down here. But I did, like I said, try to place wreaths from each season, and any of the season things that I could, I tried to put down. And just try to include everybody in the build, even though it was difficult to do in some parts. I think Winter still got the short end of the stick. He wasn't my favorite to do and create a sim, and then in here too, it was just really hard to incorporate him with the rest of them. Spring and summer, I think, go really well together, and even autumn plants and such go really well. But winter winter. So I feel bad that he's not more included. But I did try, I made like a study that was focused on winter. So it has like a little cozy fireplace and a little chess table and books. You know, to me, when you're stuck inside, you might go up there from the fireplace, curl up with a book, and just, you know, be nice and cozy and warm. And so that's his moment to shine. I kind of went more. Most of the build is just more solid colors, but with winter, I did the vampire patterns and such. And so his is kind of different to the rest of the build too. And I'm not sure how much I like that. I liked it for him since he is a vampire, but I'm not sure how much I like it for the build. So I might go back and change it, do the same colors, but just do like a solid color scheme instead of the little bats and such. Because I'm not really sure how much I like it, especially for the study since it is for all of them. So I might go back and change that. My favorite room in the house has to be Autumn. So you'll see that because I think there were a lot of good items for me to put in her room, and the colors in her room are my favorite. So you'll see her room here in a little while, but she's definitely my favorite room by far. And I do like Winter's room, just because I put like a little couch and such in there. So I do like how it turned out as well. I just don't know how much I like it in context of the rest of the build. And then putting the pictures up as well. Like I really tried to find like outdoorsy pictures or pictures that made me think of the different seasons, and that was kind of hard to try to get them where they kind of went with each other as well. That wasn't as easy as I had hoped, but overall I'm really pleased with how this build turned out. Like I said, it's definitely different. I don't think I've used so much color in a build other than my fire element build. That one was very colorful. If you haven't seen that, definitely check those out because that one was definitely a lot and kind of hurt my eyes, but it worked so well for that element that it is what it was. So and again, just trying to put all my little clutter pieces around, really fill up the space. I do like it. I put a little froggy in there. I thought that was a cute touch. I don't think they would necessarily have pets, but spring or autumn, I think, would be like, oh, a frog, and bring it home, you know. So I definitely think that was a nice little touch. So now I am working on the kitchen, and I found all this stuff while I was outside working on the garden elements in debug. And so as I was finding things, I was placing it down, especially because it sucks going through debug. It's not the funnest thing in the world. And so as I found things I liked, I just placed them down. But for some reason, the baking pans, it wouldn't let me pick them up and place them. And I decided I didn't want to go back through debug, so I ended up just deleting those because I don't know why it wouldn't let me pick them up at all. But you can see I'm trying. I was trying to pick them up here and it just wasn't happening, so I ended up just deleting them, which is really frustrating because I think that would have been a cute touch. I did think about putting in the cupcake factory thing, but I just didn't have room for it in this build. And so I think what I might do if I play these guys at all is do like have Autumn own a cupcake factory, like her own little cupcake shop or bake shop that she can go to when it's not her season and just bake and have a bunch of baked goods. And maybe one of the other seasons helps her out when it is autumn and she's busier. Maybe they come and help her out with it or something like that. I don't know. So that's maybe something I'll do if I do play with them, which I might. I really like these guys. They're a fun group that I created. So the dining room, I actually was really pleased with what I came up with, but you'll see that here in a little while. I think I do the living room first. The living room was kind of hard too, and I think I put the TV. I don't like TVs in front of windows. I think I just don't like them. So I put the TV on that other wall, but it's kind of makes the space a lot tighter when it's such a big living room. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that either. Like I said, there's a lot of things I do that I'm like, eh. But again, that's the whole point of this channel, is to do builds and get better. And so hopefully as I go along, I'll learn what I like more and just what works better and what looks more pleasing to the eye. I hope I get better anyway. I'm kind of weird, so I don't know how much better I'll get, or if I'll still just keep my little quirky builds and just kind of keep going along with it. But I don't know. I still like how it turned out, and honestly, if I lived in this build, I would probably do the same thing anyway. Like I said, my real life house doesn't always make perfect sense. I kind of have a hodgepodge of things, and sometimes the flow's not exactly perfect. I would definitely never be an interior designer of any sort because that's just not me. But I like it. I think, it does add a little homey aspect to it, and it's not always perfect. And so I do like it, but sometimes I wish I could be, a little bit more classic and fresh and just perfectly pleasing, and whatever the feng shui be more correct, or oh, you should place your furniture here because it flows better, whatever the case may be. Sometimes I wish I was like that, but it's just, I don't think it's ever going to happen, but hopefully I do get a little bit better as far as the builds go in The Sims. So but now I'm just placing down little items. Like I said, I really wanted Autumn. I figured she'd be in here cooking and baking, and I did have some custom content kitchen items, so I placed a lot of those down. A few in here, but several in my dining room I ended up placing down. And so this is where I put the TV and the couches and such, which ideally you wouldn't have put them there because you would come in the archway and you would either just flow to the right and go in the kitchen, but that's where I wanted them and I couldn't change my mind, so that's where they ended up. And the thing is, you could always rearrange it too, so I might rearrange it at some point and put those somewhere else, but that's where they landed for now. I don't know why I have an aversion to TV in front of windows, but I just do. So I like them on solid walls. I guess I could have removed one of the windows or something like that, but I don't know. This is what I came up with, and I do like how I put like those little pillows for them to sit on, and so they have like a little area over there, and then the little music player for them to listen to, and just kind of hang out. And so you can see with the pillows, I try to do the different colors for each of the seasons. So I did the yellow and orange for autumn, and then the pink and blue for spring, the pink and yellow for summer, and then the orange and blue for winter. Just try to represent them a little bit more with different colors and such. I like that. That's a custom content picture, and it says "Stay cozy." I really like that one. I wish I could have it in real life. So, I'm sure I could find one, but and then just try and, like I said, to place things down, and I actually end up moving the fire alarm and the thermostat over next to the TV, and there's like a little shelf with like oven mitts and such on it. I ended up putting that shelf in that space So I move those things, and I think it worked a little bit better for the space. So, and then just little seating areas around. I figure, they might mill about if they have like company, and maybe dance in this area. Um, I don't know what they would do in that little area, but. And now onto the dining room, which this dining room I absolutely adore. I really wanted to go with more like of autumn theme, but it definitely still screams spring again. But it's just so cute. I absolutely love it. And so I did the gold and pink in here, and I found these little shelves you'll see here in a second, and I found their little party hats right here, so I ended up moving those onto the shelves. And I figured I could kind of envision them, like I said, when I was in Creative Sim with them. At the change of each season, they would have a celebration, and the new season would usher in their season essentially. And so I thought, it'd be so much fun, that whatever season it is would have on their little hat, and they would have like a big feast in here, and maybe have music out in the living room, and it would just like be this huge party. I can just imagine them doing that. So I love those hats, and I love the shelves I found. They ended up being perfect for this space, and really went well with the table and the chairs. Um, so I don't keep that little bar buffet thing, whatever it's called. I don't keep that. I found the other shells and found the right colors for them, and it was just like, yes, these work perfectly. And then like the little menu and such, I thought was a cute touch as well. But I wanted to kind of put a bar in here, but there wasn't quite enough space, so I ended up not doing that. But that's okay. They don't really need it, so like, uh, but just again trying to find the right shelves to fit in here, and then I found them, and they just worked perfectly. These ones, and they have the little mirrors in the back, and so I put the hats in. I thought they worked really well on those, and then I just kind of fill up. The only frustrating thing was they have the top shelves, and some things clipped so easily and just went on there perfectly, and other things didn't. And then so I was having to move them up and down and do the alt to move them around and such. So that was a little bit frustrating. Um, but it wasn't too bad. And those little, I think, nifty knitting shells worked well in here as well. And so this is a lot of the items from my custom content kitchen items that I put up there, and they worked really well. They fit perfectly. And then I had all these harvest baskets, because like I said, this would definitely be Autumn's domain, not the rest of them. And so I had all the harvest baskets. I figure when she's out picking her vegetables, she would need those, so she would store them in here, and then other kitchen items she would store in here as well. And then of course they have their celebration things that go in here as well. So and again, just trying to place little items. So I have autumn and spring in here, and then I put some other plants that work for summer and winter on the other side, up there, because I didn't want to leave them out. But so sometimes they were hard to find things for. Was more difficult than it was for spring and autumn. So but yeah, like I said, this is just absolutely my favorite. And I put more little cookbooks, and I found those tomes, and so I put those up there. Figure maybe that's where they keep, like, maybe they say something in their celebration at the change of the season, and that has like all the old history and lore from the change of the seasons and such. I thought that might be an aspect that went well with it. And so I don't know. I think I will definitely have to play these guys at some point. And then I wanted the curtains up here because I figured maybe while they're doing their celebration and passing on the torch to the next season, they might keep those closed and have it kind of enclosed and homey feeling. I do end up changing those, but I do keep the curtain aspect up there as well. So now we're on to our sunroom, and at first I was going for this teal color, kind of match the rest of the theme, but then I do change that to a darker blue or teal color just because to me, since that is winter's thing is the knitting, he wouldn't necessarily have it all bright and happy. So even though I start with this color, I do end up changing that as well. And then the little swing, I would have loved to put that on the porch. That's another custom content piece. And I would have loved to put that on the porch, but you really need like an overhang on the porch in order to do that. And so I ended up putting it in here in the sunroom, and I figured that worked just fine as well. And they might come and sit and swing, and then of course I had to put another rocking chair from the pack, and I ended up putting a little laundry area for Autumn as well because I figured she would be in charge of the laundry. So I put her a little area where she can sit and fold laundry for everybody, and then they can come and just take it to their individual rooms and whatnot. So, and now these old vintage pictures I loved, and I thought that might be something maybe Winter likes, and he collects like old pictures and such. I could see that just because the frames and such are so much darker and they're not as bright. I could see that being kind of his thing. And then here I am putting the laundry area, and then I just put a bunch of plants in front of the window. I don't put like a variety of plants, just there's you'll see them. I won't try to explain them because I'm not good at explaining, but I just do the same plants all the way across, like in these little planters. I don't do like a bunch of different types of plants or anything, which I guess I could. I maybe could have done like some shelves and just put a bunch of different plants in there, but I just went with the one. I figured maybe they grow their own herbs in there or something like that, even though she has some out in the garden. Maybe they keep more inside for those winter months, then they can still have like fresh herbs and things like that, even in the winter when things aren't growing outside. So but yeah, I like the sunroom, and I think it turned out pretty cute. I didn't really know what to do with the space, honestly. I've never done a sunroom in The Sims, and I've never had a sunroom in real life. I've always wanted one, but I've never had one. I've been to some houses with them, and everybody does them so different that I think you can really go any way you want with the sunroom. And I did go ahead. I debated about putting like a desk chair, but I figured, you wouldn't necessarily sit in the rocking chair to be at the desk, so I did want to put a desk chair as well. And now we are on to Spring's room, and I know the closet's messed up. I don't catch that until later when I come back. So I did this lower part, and then it was again late, and so we went to bed, and then I came back to finish the upper stories the next day. And I don't notice the closet until then, and so I do end up extending that out one, and so the closet is correct then. And then I just I put like a little banner right next to the closet on that wall there, and I end up just moving that by the mirror since I didn't catch that part originally. And so in spring, I gave him the little bonsai plant. I thought that was something he might like. And then I do the vertical wall planters here. I thought that would be perfect for him because even when he's inside, he would still want those plants and care for them either way, whether he's outside in the spring and summer or having to do it inside during the colder months. So and then of course a little bookshelf, and I give him a little meditation area. I figure that might be something he would be into, just relaxed and happy. I can see for his personality. And I do like his room. I think it's really cute. And then I did like sheer draperies and of course those little wallflowers. I did as well, but I did the sheer drapes, which I really liked for his room. Uh, yeah, I think it turned out well, and definitely I love the bed. I mean, just the flowery, but not too over the top either. Although it doesn't really matter for him, he likes to express himself for sure. So, um, but I think his room's pretty cute. And then again, the carpet, which I debated with that one because I couldn't remember. I knew I used, I think, a version of that carpet for my fire element, but at the same time, things are gonna get reused since there's only so many objects in the game you can't use, and I am doing this whole saved file. Um, so every lot in these worlds, it's just unavoidable that I'm going to reuse stuff. But I'm trying to mix it up as much as I can for sure. And now I'm working on curtains, and I really like the sheer curtains. I thought they were so cute, and I think they worked really well for Spring's room. But then when I put them down in the rest of the rooms, I didn't go upstairs, but in the living room and such, I didn't like the way they looked in there, so I had to mix it up a little bit. And so I ended up going with these curtains in the living room and such. But it's so hard to find curtains, especially for these types of windows, which have the little points at the top. And I wanted something like maybe they could fully black out for my winter sim, but it just wasn't working down there. I didn't want, because for the other sims they would like a lot of light and openness. They wouldn't want it all closed off. But I was hoping to have something that maybe looked like they could close it off for when he came down, but that's okay. I figured he would just spend his days up in his little area, and then he would come down at night. Not a huge deal. And his little area has the blackout curtains, so he doesn't have to worry about sunlight streaming in. Although, with the windows, because of the funky windows, again, they don't necessarily work perfectly well up there. Like in real life, there would definitely be sunlight that was able to stream through a little bit. But for the Sims world, I think it works well enough that I don't really have to worry about it. So, but now I'm just trying to come up with a little floor plan. So my vampire is on that side, and he has his own little bathroom, and then the study is right next to him. I figured that's where he would spend most of his days for sure. And I'm not sure, I went with pattern. I think I mentioned this already, but I went with the pattern, and I like it though. I like it, and I think it works for him. But I think maybe in the study I might change it to like a solid red instead of the pattern. Just because for the study, that's more communal, and so it doesn't necessarily need to match his area. But I like how the white and blue, because it kind of makes me think of snow in wintertime. So I think it works. And then of course he had to have his little coffin. Can't forget that. And I thought about giving him a closet, because I put a closet in every other room, but I just didn't like how it worked in this space. So I ended up going with a dresser, and then the tall, what do you call it, thing? I can't think right now, but where he could hang up anything that needed to be hung up, he could hang it up there. And then, of course, I gave him a little seating area since he's gonna spend much of his day up here. I had to give him a little seating area so he could watch TV and just kind of chill and relax. And then I gave him some mini fridges so he could have his plasma. And then, of course, he has the study which he could hang out in as well. And I love the study. I put a fireplace in there, and all the books, and the little chess table, and then the little bar. So he probably spends a lot of time in there too, especially if he wants to be more social with with the other seasons. I think they would maybe spend time in there playing chess or just chatting. Um, but I like the fireplace element in there. I think that, like I said, he's not really represented in the rest of the build, but I think the study is where he has his little moment to shine. So, um, and then just trying to place all this stuff in the bathroom. I think the bathrooms are probably like the easiest, but they also take a bit of time because you're trying to make everything fit. And I put up a fountain, and it does not work. The bathtub doesn't work because I put the fountain above the bathtub. You'll see what I mean here in a second. And that fountain, it causes the bathtub not to work. But to me, he's going to be in the shower, and then those little pictures block the shower. So I ended up moving the pictures into the study above the um, fireplace. So that way he could use the shower. But I like the bathtub in there. I don't care that it's not functional at all. I'm not really worried about that. So as much as I like it, it is what it is. And if you guys want me to download this to the gallery so you guys can use it, let me know. I haven't been doing any of my builds, so if there's something that you guys really like, let me know and I can or upload it to the gallery, I guess is the better term there. But let me know if you would like me to do that so you can use these builds. I haven't really worried about it because I couldn't really imagine people wanting to use my builds because they're not the best, but definitely let me know if that's something you're interested in, and you can even tweak it to how you want. And so here I'm putting little mini fridges. I did not test these yet, so I don't know if they work since I have the gargoyles over them. I hope they work, but again, if they don't, it's not a huge issue for me. But it might be an issue if you guys do want me to download or upload this to the gallery. But that's something you could easily remove the gargoyles and put something else above there if you wanted to. I just really liked them. So, and I don't get a chance to use them a whole lot. I love gargoyles. I think they're so cool. And so I wanted to use them, and I did. That's pretty much the theme for all my builds is I wanted it, so I used it. And now I'm working on Autumn and Summer's bathroom here, and I really like their bathroom. I was trying to kind of mix both like autumn and summer vibes, and so I tried to go with some yellows, but the yellows I used in here really fit more with autumn than it does summer. So I think the overall bathroom definitely screams autumn over summer, which is fine because summer has the outside pool area where autumn doesn't have a whole lot. So the bathroom fitting her aesthetic a little bit more, I think works perfectly fine. Just give her a little bit more representation in this build, for sure. But, and I do like how it turned out. I put the laundry day shelf here, and I didn't realize that it was clipping out of the wall. And so I ended up having to kind of move the door and kind of adjust it a little bit, which was a little bit annoying, but I could have shrunk it down, I guess, but I like the size of it, so I played with it. And it's kind of frustrating though, because again, it's like there's so much room in this bathroom and so much space to fill up, but then when you try to fill up the space, there's not enough room for the things you want to put in. It's like, why can't it just work perfectly where you have enough space for everything and it doesn't look so empty and things like that? But I think how it turns out overall, I really do like. And so I had room for this little laundry or bathroom hutch thing. I don't even know what it's called. Words are leaving my mind. I'm not able to grasp them right now. I'm pretty tired today. The puppy keeps you up. So, but it's definitely worth it. I love new puppies. And so I will take being tired to enjoy having her. But if that's why I'm not very clear, you know. And so now I'm just trying to, and I wanted to kind of mix the lighting, but I ended up removing the light I used in the bathroom from the hallway and just doing the candles. And then I just have the different lightings in the different rooms for the different Sims. So now I'm working on Summers, and I don't think I got Summer across as well as I could have. I definitely think I see more like spring. I did like more flowers and such, which to me is more spring. And thinking about it now, I had the flip flop lights I put down on the deck along the water slide. I should have probably pulled some of those in to put like above her closet and things like that, because that would have definitely given more of a summer aspect in my mind, but I didn't do that. And so it's very girly and cute, but I don't think it necessarily screams summer. But the landing, when you see like if you stay till the end and you watch the screenshots, you'll see like when you come up the landing, it's so bright and it makes you think summer. But her room, like I said, it's kind of just a mixed match of things and doesn't really scream a specific season to me. But I do like it, and I think it fits her personality well. But again, I don't think it's necessarily summer vibes. I mean, the bed works for summer. I like the bed with the little canopy. I think that's definitely kind of summery vibes on that end. And I do like the sunset wallpaper. And then I found like citrus posters, which citrus makes me think summer. Lemonade and mimosas for like orange juice and things like that. But past that, the rest of the room, I don't think. I did put sunflowers because, sunflowers are sun and sun is summer. So, but I think overall, I could have done a little bit of a better job getting the summer aspect across. But I do like her room. I do like how it turned out. It's just, I don't know. I think I could have done a better job on her for sure. But you'll see Autumn is my favorite. I think I did a wonderful job on Autumn's room. And so here I found this hanging, and I thought, because I wasn't sure the other curtains that the Sims would be able to walk through, and I found that wall curtains, and so I ended up putting that down in the dining room. I didn't use them for here, but I thought they worked well in the dining room. And so yeah, I put these little flowers up. And so again, I don't know, kind of spring type vibes. But now is my favorite room in the whole house. I absolutely love this room. Autumn's my favorite season anyway. I love autumn. Both my husband and I are big autumn lovers, and so the colors and the pumpkins and the brisk air, it's definitely getting, because it's so hot here. I'm in New Mexico, and so it's so hot. And when I've been taking the puppy out in the morning, there's like a briskness to the air and a freshness to the air. So it's definitely like, yes, autumn's coming, finally. Even though during the day it's still ridiculously hot. I think this week we were up in the 90s. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that because I don't want to know how hot it is. All I know is it's hot. So I don't really pay attention to that. My husband's always like, yeah, it's supposed to get up in the 90s or it's supposed to get up in the hundreds again. And I'm like, don't tell me that. I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know that. But it's coming. Autumn's coming here, finally. I know other places are already kind of cooling down, but it takes a while in New Mexico. So, but I am sick of the heat, for sure. And plus, like I said, I like autumn. I don't know. I like the pies and Thanksgiving, and it's just definitely my happy place for sure. So, and I love the colors. Like, they're just so cozy and it's just nice. I can do without. By winter, I'm always like, is it over yet? And summer, I'm always like, is it over yet? Spring's fine, but we don't get much of a spring here. It seems like it goes from winter to summer like that. Where autumn, you do kind of get, it's very short, but you do get that freshness and that briskness to the air, which I love. Um, but yeah, just trying to decorate her room a little bit with some plants because you gotta have plants everywhere for the seasons. And I don't know, hers is just so cozy, and I would spend so much time in her room if I was her, um, for sure. Like that's where I would be hanging out. And now just trying to find things. And those, I did not play test the closets at all. I don't know if they'll work because those are kind of clipping the closet. So I have no clue if the closets work or not. But I figure even if they don't, I don't really use like closets and dressers to change or anything. I just go into Create a Sim, which is easy enough if I want to change their outfit. So I don't really use that aspect of the game anyway. Um, so I'm not really that worried about it if they don't work. And plus, they're easy enough to take down if I wanted to. And now I'm doing the study for my winter sim, my vampire. And I don't know, like I said, I might change the wallpaper and just make it a solid color so it kind of fits with the rest of the build. And then the chimney too, I had a hard time getting it to match like the roof. There wasn't really a good one that worked well, and so I went with that one. Um, it's kind of frustrating, but he has a fireplace. He has to have a chimney, of course. So, I mean, I guess he doesn't have to, but I like the chimney, and plus you can see the like the little smoke, coming out of the chimney, which I think is so cute. And so yeah, now just like I said, trying to adjust. There was too much red, so I changed the curtains to black, and then a little chess table, and I put the little world globe bar so they can have some drinks if they're up here. But that's definitely winter's little lair, and very cozy, and you just curl up in front of the fire with a book and just be happy. So that's his little area. Like I said, he'd spend a lot of time between the study and his room. And then, I mean, I know the study probably should have had the desk, but I put it out here because there wasn't a whole lot of room in the study, and that way I could fill up the space as well. And I did put a fish tank. I'm not sure why. Maybe for my spring sim, since he's a mermaid, maybe he would enjoy having the fish up here as well. But so this is my little desk area that they all can share. And I didn't put any windows in this hallway because I still wanted my vampire to be able to, come out in the hallway and maybe call down to the others or go from his room to the study without having to worry about sunlight or anything like that. So I didn't put any windows in the hallway. But this picture right here, like, I mean, like I said, you come up the stairs and it's just like so bright, and you need sunglasses. So that definitely gave me summer vibes for sure. And I love that painting. I think it's so perfect for that space. It worked really well. But now here we are into the screenshot, so I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. I hope you enjoyed this build. Like as always, if you have any tips or tricks for me, please let me know in the comments below. And if you would like me to upload this to the gallery, also let me know. Next week, we are going to be doing Rainbow Sims, so definitely check back for that. I'm going to be doing the Rainbow Cast Challenge, and then, of course, a build to go with them. And I actually might, for my Rainbow Sims, I might do tiny builds, like Sydney Macaretta does, because I think that would work really, really well for them. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, and we will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.